Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Northward Center, New Jersey Sharing Network, PSE&G, committed to providing safe, reliable energy now and in the future. NJM Insurance Group, serving New Jersey's drivers, homeowners, and business owners for more than 100 years. The Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, the Turrell Fund, supporting Reimagine Childcare. PNC, Grow Up Great. Caldwell University. And by United Airlines. Promotional support provided by Meadowlands Chamber, building connections, driving business growth. And by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, part of the USA Today network.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there is always something to learn.
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No. People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
That's a good question. High five.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. It is my honor to introduce a great leader, Principal Baruti Kafele. He is a motivational speaker, educational expert, consultant, and Principal Kafele Consulting is his company. You'll see the website up. So first of all, good to have you with us, Principal.
Great to be with you.
By the way, Principal Kafele was at so many places: Newark Tech High School, Patrick Healy Middle School, Hubbard Middle School, goes on and on. But so check this out. There's a lot of garbage on social media. Stay away in many ways. But on Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock, I know where I'm going to be, because a few weeks ago, I realized he was there. What goes on at 11 o'clock every Saturday, and what does it have to do with leadership, Principal?
Yeah, the Virtual Assistant Principal Leadership Academy. Every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. And I created it because I have deemed many years ago that the most misunderstood and underutilized position in education is the assistant principalship, and I wanted to do something about it. And hence, that's one of the tools to changing the narrative of the assistant principal.
You know, we're going to use this on our Lessons in Leadership program as well, but I got to ask you, when I came on, the level of engagement, interactivity, people say, you know, you can't connect with people remotely. Yeah, it's harder. We agree. We get that. But Principal Kafele is going back and forth with people. They're asking questions. It's, by the way, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live. Check them out. Go on the website, find out. And I'm trying to get in the conversation, and I'm learning and listening. And I run leadership academies at all different kinds of places, and his is a lot better than mine. I learned an awful lot. How do you get that level of engagement, Principal?
That thunder and lightning that I bring to it, it's a magnet, because it's one thing to bring the content, but when you're bringing that energy, that passion, it just says to the listener that he's into it. He's into this content, and he's into us, and that increases the viewership. You know, people want that energy because, you know, the weeks are tough, the times are tough, but you got a guy that's spending an hour, you know, bringing that level of passion. It's infectious. So, you know, we get a lot of people on there.
Is there significance to what you wear on the weekends? Because you always wear these great. Good. What do you wear?
Negro Leagues. I somewhere along the way I became infatuated with the whole history of the Negro League. So I said, let me own as many jerseys as I can of the Negro League players and teams. So I have about 40 different jerseys. And
baseball.
Baseball. Yeah.
So we're talking Satchel Paige. We are talking. Give people. By the way, Jackie Robinson came out of that as well.
Jackie Robinson, yeah, all of those players. So I wear their Negro League jerseys, including Willie Mays. You know, and
Willie Mays
Aaron, and Hank Aaron. You know, people were looking for me to wear the Hank Aaron jersey on that weekend that he passed, but I had just worn it 2 weeks prior. So I said, no, I'm not going to wear it, but because I just wore it. But yeah, that's the way I take. That's just me demonstrating pride.
You ready for this? Check. I'm sorry for interrupting, Principal. How about this one? Growing up in Newark, there were the Newark Bears, which was a team for the Yankees. They were a minor league farm team for the Yankees, but there was another team that some say was even better. the Newark Eagles.
That's right, Larry Doby.
Larry, I'm in Montclair. The great Larry Doby from Montclair, New Jersey, played for the Cleveland Indians, if I'm not mistaken.
Did, yeah.
I'm sorry, we're doing baseball history. Principal, let me ask you this. How much of leadership, and you talk about the Assistant Principal Leadership Academy, how much of leadership is about motivating others to be better than they even think they can be themselves on a daily basis?
It matters. You know, my wife and I were just having that conversation about 15 minutes ago. Because you find there are people that don't even realize what they have. So you're born with these just unlimited gifts and talents within you, but you need somebody that can identify them and help you to bring them out. So that's a large part of leadership, being able to find those talents within an individual to create synergy, because some leaders feel that they have to do it all, not realizing they've got smarter people amongst them on their staff, but you've got to help them to find out what it is they have so we can hone in on it. And therefore we got a 1 + 1 = 3 effect synergy within the organization.
Another leadership question. You're a visionary guy, a visionary leader, you know, out of the box. I try to be that as well. But at the same time, I send crazy, and I say this all the time, I send emails on the weekend to my staff about the smallest detail. I look and I go, that's not right. How can we fix that? And I'm sure they're thinking, seriously? Saturday morning? You're going to send that email? Can't you wait until Monday? I said, no, I'll wait till Monday till you respond. Question, leadership, big vision, no detail too small. You're shaking your head because?
I believe in it. I give maximum attention to detail. You figure, you know, going back to the Saturday Academy, I'm not paid for that, but I'll spend an entire week preparing that lesson, which includes getting up 2-3 hours ahead of time to go back and prepare more so that all the details are covered, so that I'm not on that broadcast stuttering and forgetting and so forth. I want as close to perfection as I can. So the attention to detail, where a lot of folks probably wouldn't give it that kind of detail for something that they're not being compensated for.
You know what? It's so interesting you're saying that. And by the way, to Alvin Badger, our great director, who leads our behind the scenes team and all our producers, they get those emails and they're the best. There's a great team, but here's the funny thing. Where is the fine line in your view, Principal, between attending to those details and being an obsessive micromanager to the point where you just drive your people crazy? Listen, this is kind of like therapy right now. Talk to us, please.
Yeah, well, you know, there is a fine line, and I was you. I sent my staff a bulletin, typically on a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. That was my ritual, 10 o'clock.
Alvin, you listening to this? Yeah, I don't do Sunday morning. Well, I take that back. Go ahead.
And they would, I said to them, I don't expect you to read this at 10 o'clock.
They're in church, but go ahead.
Yeah, those that want to, yeah, it could be a church. Those that want to read it. And then you've got to jump on everybody else relative to the week forthcoming. So it was all about the week, so that when the staff meeting came, I didn't have to deal with administrative issues. I could deal with professional development. So read the administrative, and then let's deal with the nuts and bolts when we get to school on Monday afternoon at the staff meeting. So I was mindful of not bombarding them with emails, because I know they don't want to read a zillion emails from me. So I kind of put everything in that Sunday morning email, which included a commentary that I would write just reflective of my thoughts going into that new week. And I learned over time, they look forward to the commentary before they did everything else, because it was me speaking now. See, everything else was just the work. But now the commentary, this is what I'm thinking at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock when I start writing it, or 8, whatever it was. This is what I'm thinking right now going into the new week. And folks wanted to know, because I'm the leader. So what's the leader thinking?
Like I said, you're the teacher, I'm the student, and you just gave me an idea for a Sunday morning email to everyone on our team. Plan a week ahead, little Steve's commentary. Yeah. It's not, and if they get upset, Principal, I'm going to just say I was following your lead. Are we all right with that?
That's it. And that commentary may have nothing to do with the work. That commentary may just be what I'm thinking about, whatever.
Yes. Hey, yeah. Principal Baruti Kafele is the best. His website's been up the entire time. Do yourself a favor. Saturday morning, I know you want to chill, you want to do whatever. For me, 11 o'clock, Facebook Live is for me. You can also go on Twitter Live and YouTube Live. I learn something new every week because of that guy. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
You're the best. I'm Steve. That's Principal Kafele. We'll be right back right after this.
To watch more one-on-one with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
We are honored to be joined by Robert Garrett, CEO of Hackensack Meridian Health, and the Harry Carson, Pro Football Hall of Famer, New York Giants captain, health ambassador for Hackensack Meridian Health. Number 53 is in the house, Bob Garrett.
I love it. I love it. It's welcome back to those glory days. Good to see you, Harry. Good to see you too, Steve.
All right. Good seeing you guys.
Harry, remind folks, what were those especially good years for us Giants fans that you gave us?
Well, the 70s weren't very good, but the 80s were more on the upbeat, especially 1986.
Yeah, we remember that. And by the way, HMH has a strong connection to the Giants. They're also a supporter of what we do at the Caucus Educational Corporation. Bob, let me ask you this. The role of Hackensack Meridian Health in vaccine awareness and distribution, could you describe it?
Yeah, first I wanted to say something about 1986, Steve, one of my favorite years because of the New York Giants. But I got to say it was the year I got married too, so I got to get that in for my wife.
Yeah,
too.
Laura would not appreciate it if you didn't do that.
She would not. So about the vaccine, Steve, the vaccine distribution is going well. It's getting better each and every day. I think, it's fair to say it got off to a rocky start. But we are vaccinating at Hackensack Meridian now 3,000 people a day. 1,500 at our mega site at the Meadowlands Racetrack, and about 1,500 through 10 of our hospitals throughout Hackensack Meridian Health. We vaccinated since the beginning of the program, which was the middle of December, just about 125,000 people. New Jersey is about 15% of their entire population has now received at least the first vaccine. A long way to go, but certainly we're on the road. And, New Jersey's
Bob, stay right there. Bob, stay right there. We're taping on the 16th of February. When this is seen later, those numbers should be a lot better, right, Bob?
They should be a lot better. So we're at a pace where we're picking up 5 to 10% of the population each and every week. And, the New Jersey has a pretty ambitious goal, Steve. Our Commissioner of Health, Judy Persicelli, has set out a goal of vaccinating 70% of the adult population within 6 months. So we still got a ways to go, but I'm at least more encouraged now. The biggest obstacle is still getting the vaccine supply from the federal government. We have the 10 sites opened at the hospitals. We could open another 23 sites if we had more vaccine available, and that's really important because some of those sites are in community centers that are particularly important to some of our underserved communities in New Jersey. So I know we're doing everything we can. The governor, the commissioner, all of us are doing everything we can to get more vaccine supply for the state of New Jersey.
Well said. Harry, let me follow up with you. You dealt with COVID in March of 2020. This is a year later that we're doing this. Harry, you've been very vocal and working with HMH on this in terms of awareness in the African-American community and also as it relates to vaccine resistance. Talk about it specifically and directly.
In June, I went to a doctor and I got tested, and he said that I was exposed to the virus, but I had the antibodies and so forth. And so, I've always tried to be very careful and very disciplined in what I do. I was a football player, so I have to be disciplined to do certain things, but everybody is not like me. And what I try to do is share with people that this virus is real. I've experienced it, maybe not to the extent of other people. And when you find that people that you love, people that you've had a relationship with, experience having the virus and not recover and pass away, then it becomes more personal. And you want to make certain that you share with people, just be careful, keep your distance, wear a mask. You don't want to let your guard down in any way, shape, or form that you're going to infect someone else just because you don't want to wear a mask.
Let me follow up, Bob. How important is it that you and your colleagues are working directly with Harry and communicating directly to the African-American community. Harry is an icon. He's a role model. Why is that so important, Bob?
It is absolutely huge when Harry shares his story about getting COVID and what he went through. It means a lot because he connects with so many people, and that means that as Harry's message that you just heard, the message of being more careful about wearing masks, about social distancing and hand washing, but also as the vaccine started to roll out. Harry was on hand when we administered our first vaccines at Hackensack Meridian Health. And his message was a strong one, and that is, hey, I got COVID myself. You know what? You may be reticent, you may be hesitant about getting the vaccine, but getting COVID is a lot worse. And and he's somebody I think that can really connect with so many New Jerseyans, particularly those in the African American community. And we're trying to reach out in every which way we can through people like Harry Carson. We've also connected with church leaders and community leaders. We've filmed some public service announcements in Spanish and English to really reach out to some of the Spanish-speaking communities that we serve. And we've had some success. So the vaccine trials that we've been doing, we did a Moderna trial at Hackensack, and we're currently doing a J&J trial at Jersey Shore. We're getting a good response from some of those communities. Not as much as we'd like, but more and more are coming in. And we're seeing as the vaccine program rolls out, more people of color coming in to get the vaccines. But we're not, Steve, I want to say we're not where we should be. Those populations that are most vulnerable, we still have to get that message out there to them that getting the vaccine is important, and it's certainly way more preferable than getting COVID.
Harry, let me ask you this, concisely, clearly, and compellingly, only the way you can, the message to those watching, particularly in the African-American community who may still be resistant, concerned, hesitating. You say what to them right now?
I understand why they're hesitant, but I also know that not getting the shot and possibly being infected, which might infect other people within your family, you need to get a shot. I got my shot almost 2 weeks ago. And, I went through the after effects and everything, but I want to encourage everybody to please, please, please don't play around with this. Don't try to play Russian roulette. Ensure yourself by getting a shot and then getting a follow-up shot, because my follow-up shot is in another 2 weeks. And I'm looking forward to that, to be able to continue to maintain distance and washing and all of that stuff. But at least, I know that I'm protected in some way. So it's better to be protected and then to go out and risk something happening and, you regret it.
Harry Carson, Bob Garrett, go Giants.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll be right back right after this.
To watch more one-on-one with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
We're now joined by Sandra Sheppard, who is Director and Executive Producer, Kids, Media, and Education at WNET, the PBS flagship throughout the entire nation. How you doing, Sandra?
I'm good, Steve. Nice to be here.
We are longtime colleagues, partners with WNET, based in New York, the PBS flagship, if you will. Put in context the conversations we've been having offline and also with Neil Shapiro, our president, as it relates to educational initiatives remotely being taught and the difference that's being made during COVID. Lay that out, which programs we need to talk about.
Absolutely. When COVID hit last spring, we recognized there are a lot of kids out there who don't have access or may not have the adequate technology in their homes, but almost everybody has broadcast. And so we partnered both in New Jersey and New York with the Department of Education and amazing teachers to literally bring teachers teaching from their homes into students' homes. And we started in New Jersey with NJTV Learning Live last April, and then we moved to New York. And it's been a phenomenal experience. And I have to say, I give all the credit to the teachers and the partners.
And by the way, in New Jersey, when this started and we started covering it, and our daughter, who's in the 5th grade, was benefiting like so many others, the New Jersey Education Association involved as well with the Department of Education and Public Broadcasting. So if anyone wants to know where Learning Live is right now, what, when, and where, please, Sandra.
Absolutely. NJTV Learning Live is available still on broadcast. They can watch it daily on our WLIW channel. But if they do have access to the internet, all of the content, and it's for grades 3 to 6, it covers every subject area, is available on our NJTV website. So they can stream any of the archived programs. And again, we have 200 hours of great content from teachers. So I encourage people to check it out.
And the New York initiative, different name?
Different name. It's called Let's Learn, aimed at a slightly younger audience. New York City folks felt that the youngest really struggled with being on Zoom all day long. So this is for pre-K through grades 2. It's on daily on Channel 13 and LIW. And again, it's a 1-hour program, slightly shorter for that younger audience, but it covers the full spectrum: math, lots of literacy learning. They even have a wonderful segment called Be Mindful that helps kids with social emotional issues they're facing.
Right.
So I encourage people to either check it out on broadcast or on our website, letslearn.org directly.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Say that again, Sandra.
They can also access it on our website. It's called letslearn.org. They can go right to the content.
Got it. And by the way, we're doing a feature. Mary Gamba, my colleague, our sister program, Lessons in Leadership, we're writing a book on innovation and leadership in the age of COVID and beyond. And there's going to be a case study on this initiative because it is about innovation. It is about leadership. It is about not accepting the status quo. And the larger question that I'm curious about from your perspective is the role of public broadcasting in these unprecedented times. Neil Shapiro, and by the way, check out the interviews we've done with Neil on our website, steveadubato.org. But the role of public broadcasting is evolving every day during this crisis, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, we felt that these initiatives are absolutely core to our mission. How do we reach the public with the most needed content? And I think with education, we had to respond very rapidly to where there were gaps. And that's what we did. We responded with significant partnerships and content on broadcast that is free to all and basically reaches 99% of the public. So these initiatives align with our mission, but they also forced us to go above and beyond, because doing everything remotely, working with teachers who are not, professionals on camera, required a lot of legwork and a lot of teamwork, and it happened quickly and effectively.
By the way, Lauren, help me on this, our producer, Lauren Gary. We did an interview with the New Jersey Teacher of the Year who led up the initiative in New Jersey. Is it Kimberly Dickstein-Hughes?
Yes, it is.
But check that, Kimberly Dickstein-Hughes. I know Sandra said she's not a professional broadcaster or communicator.
She is now.
She is now, and she's incredible. Check that interview out. What is Camp TV? And how does that relate to innovation?
Yeah. So, again, it's looking for the gap and how do we fill it in public media. There is significant learning loss over the summer, and there are a lot of kids who just can't go to day camp. It's an economic and equity issue. So we responded with Camp TV. It's a 1-hour daily program featuring a head counselor and content from some of the best education and cultural institutions out there, getting kids to learn new stuff. So whether it's learning about animals or the planets from Liberty Science or a new dance move, but bringing in all of that magic.
Is Lincoln Center involved as well?
Lincoln Center's involved, New Victory's involved, the zoos, the botanical gardens, the libraries. We have about 25 partners who contributed content to Camp TV, and it's really magical. Kids learn amazing things, and we're bringing it back this summer. We started last summer, and we think this is going to be an evergreen.
And this has a lot to do with, as you said, Sandra, we're doing an ongoing series called Confronting Racism. This is about equity issues. It's about inclusion. It's about the fact that there are so many children who don't have access to the things that so many of us may take for granted. And that's what public broadcasting is committed to dealing with directly.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, the pandemic and the kind of learning loss we're going to see, especially with children of color, is long lasting. And so this kind of content is going to have a long tail. I also want to point out that we are very thoughtful about including diverse representation on the screen with all of our instructional television initiatives and behind the screen. Many of our shows feature diverse authors and books. It's absolutely critical that kids can identify with what they're watching.
Sandra Sheppard is director and executive producer of Kids Media and Education at WNET. Sandra, I want to thank you, and beyond that, I want to thank everyone connected to public broadcasting, WNET, NJTV, WLIW, making a difference, not just on the air. And I'm not going to turn it into a commercial, but not just what we do on the air, but a whole range of these educational initiatives. Sandra, thank you so much. We appreciate what you and your colleagues do every day.
Thank you so much. And thank you to the teachers and the families out there. They are really on the front lines. And thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Well said.
Thanks, Sandra. I'm Steve Adubato. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by the Northward Center, New Jersey Sharing Network, PSC&G, NJM Insurance Group, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, the Turrell Fund, supporting Reimagine Childcare, PNC, Grow Up Great, Caldwell University, and by United Airlines. Promotional support provided by Meadowlands Chamber and by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, part of the USA Today network.
Are you looking to be a part of a dynamic, forward-thinking business service organization? At the Meadowlands Chamber, every day we connect, collaborate, and innovate, helping to drive business and economic growth in the greater Meadowlands and New Jersey. I invite you to visit our Meadowlands Chamber headquarters, an open office facility with access to resources for our members' businesses and networking needs. Together we will build the Chamber of the future and the next generation of leaders.